Saira, this was you, because you said something similar happened to you when you were filming.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote a piece in the Mail yesterday talking about my experiences, and what happened was I was sent by the BBC to Pakistan to make a documentary about, well, just a documentary about Pakistan. I had to travel up and down the country, and there was one day where it was a day where the Prophet Muhammad's birthday was to be celebrated, and there were going to be thousands and thousands of people, so we decided to go along and be part of that and film it. I had an all-male British team with me, and we did, you know, we went to this square and there was just thousands of men. There wasn't a woman in sight. And my director was quite nervous. And I said, look, we need to get into the heart of this. We need to find out what the atmosphere is like, perhaps talk to a few people. And, my Pakistani fixer went, look, there's no way you can do that. And I just looked at him and went, why not? I want to do it. I was wearing traditional shalwar kameez. I had my head covered because it was a spiritual day. They were celebrating the Prophet's birthday. And I thought, well, what's going to happen to me? And I didn't want to believe, with everything that my parents had told me about men from these cultures, I just thought, no, it's not true. I'm going to prove that it's not true. So we were on a bridge and I had to walk down by myself. I'd got my talk back, so if anything happened, I could, cry for help. And I absolutely, just as a woman, thought nothing is going to stop me doing my job.
Especially as it's a holy day as
well. It's a holy day. It's a spiritual day. I'm Pakistani of origin. I'm dressed. What is going to happen? They're going to respect me. I'm a woman.
And was the camera crew right there? Or
no, the camera crew were quite a distance away, so they could see me. Yeah. So I walked down, and also, like I said, as a woman, I thought no one's going to stop me doing my job. This is ridiculous. People don't behave like this. I went down into the crowd, only on the sidelines, and within moments, I was in the middle. I'd been bustled into the middle of a group of men, and it was horrific. My boobs were touched, my bottom was touched, my legs were touched, and I just remembered I was just shaking, just going, get me out, get me out, get me out. And quickly, as I remembered it, I was, my fixer came in, grabbed me, and I just remember, I just remember shaking.
What do you think would have happened if they hadn't?
Well, I dread to think what would have happened, but I believe that would have happened. I believe I would have been raped. And I just remember, I didn't cry. I was so angry. I was so angry that, hold on, what, you don't see me as what? I was just speechless and angry.
And do you believe if your British camera crew hadn't been there, no one would have helped you?
No one would have helped me. No one would have helped me. And look, the point about this story is that, we have to accept when we are bringing in migrants, asylum seekers, people from different cultures, they have a very different upbringing. Their societies, their political systems, what they think is normal in their country is not normal in our country. And we have to accept that. We have to do that to protect ourselves, but also protect them.
Talk about it, because, I think, again, we always have this fear of being labelled a racist, or you can't talk about somebody's religion. This is not a religious thing, this is a cultural thing.
Well, they say this is why the Rotherham sex cases went undetected for as long as they did, because nobody wanted to bring up the very obvious...
Yeah. But also, I think people in this country are very ignorant about what happens in other cultures.
But explain to me that surely there is not a culture... I mean, your experiences aside, a couple of these assaults we're talking about do extend to rape. I mean, obviously, white men commit rape as well. But surely there is no culture in the world where it is acceptable to rape a woman who is a stranger to you.
I think you're right. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable, but rape in many cultures, it goes unreported because men can get away with it because it's not seen as a serious crime.
Because maybe the first question would be asked, why were you?
Why were you? So as a woman, I was taught that if I ever got raped or if anything happened to me, what are you doing? It was going to be my fault, because what were you doing in that situation? Why were you on your own? What were you wearing?
Were you told that as a child?
I was brought up with that. I was brought up with that mentality.
But is the issue here then mass uncontrolled immigration where everybody arrives at once and there's no sort of expectation of integration? Because surely you growing up in Britain, you must know lots of law-abiding
we're not talking about
men from your culture who would never behave like that.
They wouldn't, and that's because they have been brought up in Britain with Western values, with British values, who know that you cannot do that. Women have equal rights.